I prefer things simple, meaning not too many bits of furniture. I just like things clear. It just makes the rooms more visible and the light better, and there's less distraction. And especially if you have a limited palette, which we do, it sort of frees the mind a bit. Well, Louis Kahn said there's no architecture without natural light. And I mean, we're very lucky that the whole of this property has windows facing west. And because it's England, the weather's moving all the time, but it does make it very, very interesting light at different times of day or different seasons. It's actually just like a light box. I'm originally from Halifax in Yorkshire, so this isn't really my kind of countryside. But Catherine's siblings all have cottages near here in Gloucestershire, and of course it's very convenient to London. So, you know, we ended up choosing a place here. What attracted me was that there are so many different buildings from so many different periods. It was called a disordered farmyard. That's an actual proper term in the local vernacular architectural handbook. None of the buildings are set at right angles to each other. They're all at different degrees, which I find also curious. I mean, they're centered around the pond, which predates the house. The house is 1612 or 1611, and the pond is medieval. It was put in by the monks who had a monastery about 20 miles away. And it's stocked with European carp, which was to feed the monks. And there's still carp in the pond. I'm not sure if they're 500 years old, but who knows? It's the centerpiece, really, the pond, because we have outdoor meals there with this marble table that we designed. And then we have another bench at the other end. I think you take everything in when you're designing. You take the landscape around you is one of the key things, and you know, the same greens and browns, those colors seep into the interior if you've got white walls. On the west side, where it's not visible to the road, the planners allowed us to have contemporary windows, and we tended to replace any wooden barn doors or stable doors with single sheets of glass, which we framed in this raw stainless steel from Sweden. It's very interesting about it being in a very, very calm space in the middle of nature and the quiet. It was very conducive to relaxing and I suppose recharging and enjoying nature. But I find it very, very difficult to design down here because it's so relaxing. You know, in London, I have a basement room without windows. I'm looking at the blank wall, and that's the most creative thing for me. I mean, apart from the fact that you design wherever you are, really. I mean, you're always thinking about design. It's just the actual putting it into motion happens in a basement office. Where are you? This is a book that Dejan Sijic has written about my career, and yeah, but it's quite nice because it talks about my family and my school days and things like that and where it comes from. It's not called a biography, it's called Making Life Simpler, but it's quite a good review of the last 70 years. He didn't really interview me because I've known him for 40 years. And of course, I was a bit surprised he didn't want to interview me. I thought, you know, I was longing to tell him things that he didn't know, but yeah, it's very much an architectural biography, not a lifetime one. The place does surprise me, having lived here for some years. I think it's just understanding being in nature and the everyday changes and the subtlety. And you just become more sensitive to the changes, the seasonal changes and daily changes during each season. It almost takes on a spiritual feel for me, this sort of silence and being close to nature and having the space. It's really a privilege.